Welcome to Raw Talk. As always, I'm going to have a link down below in the description box to credit WWE and for you to check out perhaps a couple of highlighted videos, as I do know there's a very select few people that do watch my weekly videos that don't even watch wrestling, but they like to be kept in the loop and sometimes check out a couple of highlights that occurred during that night. So we started off the show with actually Rhea Ripley, Dirty Dom, and JD McNugget that came out to the ring. And what was interesting about that is the ring announcer didn't even mention JD. He's just like, man, whatever, this guy ain't part of the Judgment Day. We're not even going to say his name. I don't know if that was a botch or something, because the other interesting thing too is it's that same girl that was around last week. And I think she might have been on SmackDown as well. I don't know if she's filling in because our ring announcers are on vacation. I don't know what's going on. I tried looking her up, couldn't get any information on her. Anyhow, then we had, Sami Zayn that came out, which explains this, and he gave a fire of a promo. It was very nice. He challenged the Judgment Day, and as things got a little goosey, Ricochet came out, and naturally, as always, the Judgment Day backed out. But of course they did. And then right after that, we had Dirty Dom Dom that did defeat Ricochet. I really don't understand why they haven't just taken him into the Judgment Day. I mean, this guy is hellbent on getting in. You know what I mean? Like, what's the holdup? Even Wade Barrett says the same thing. It's odd, but whatever. Who am I to fully judge here, right? But overall, again, I want to say that match was pretty good. And I do enjoy both of these competitors. Like, Ricochet is just on fire. I miss him a little bit with Braun Strowman, but as a singles competitor, he's great as well. I kind of like the whole gimmick, small guy, big guy. But they worked pretty well. But like I said, I think he's been out for an injury for quite a while. I haven't been able to see some action from Braun for obvious reasons. Now, before we get into the Creed brothers, that's weird. I didn't mention that here somewhere. Anyhow, doesn't matter. I'll mention it now. Alpha Academy, once again, were seen backstage with Tozawa, which I thought was really interesting. And I did rate it. And they did face off against the Creed brothers from NXT. This was their Raw debut, and they did win, and they were impressive. I know nothing about them. I like the look on Chad's face right there. I know nothing about them. As I said, I don't watch NXT, but I was like, first impression, I was like, yeah, this is good. And they appear to be face. So does the Alpha Academy. It was kind of cool again to see that dynamic as well, of having two teams that are face going off against each other. It's not always face versus heel, right? So yeah, I had it written down. Whatever. Now, what else did we have? Oh, yeah, I can't wait to get into this one. I'm so excited. I can't even tell. Okay, let's back it up for a second. Backstage, we had Judgment Day. Oh, and the new Judgment Day. Get it? The new day, new Judgment Day. Anyways, they said it, not me. And they came out with their mommy shirts and all that, looking like they were part of the Judgment Day. And there was no brawling, nothing. It was just kind of peaceful, and JD was there, and for the first time, I think, is what I mentioned here, JD didn't get yelled at. No barbecue sauce was thrown at the McNugget at all. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, now this part. Oh, this is so good. I don't even know where to start. I don't know why. I think this entire segment, for me, I'm not even kidding, I think this literally just took the whole night for me. This had the E. I know my camera's backwards, but whatever. The E in WWE. This was entertaining as hell for me personally, and maybe a couple of you out there. Let me just get to it. Plus, again, if you want to watch it and you didn't see it, just click that play button and you can see it. So The Miz came out for his Miz TV, right? And it was to bring out Gunther. And he tried to do that a couple of times, and Miz was all like, well, you know what? Maybe it's his first time, so I called your name, you come out, and then, of course, Imperium comes out. And I started laughing right away because both Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci both had a microphone. And I'm thinking to myself, Gio, you don't talk, right? You're like The Weeknd. We've heard him speak, what, like once in our lives? So I just thought that was kind of funny. But then he actually spoke, and then Miz fed off of this. Like, he spoke. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, give this guy a round of applause. Like, it was just really, really funny. And what was I going to say? Sorry. And basically, again, Ludwig just gets on Gio's case and is like, no, you don't. Because Gio was like, you know what? I can speak whenever I want. He's got like a deep voice, too. But yeah. And then, of course, Gunther finally comes out. He's insulting Miz. There were good insults, too, but Miz was really, really good at clapping back, as the expression goes, with all the insults that they were giving him. And what I would love nothing more, even though I know some people aren't going to agree with this, see, Miz has been, I wouldn't say a downhill. That's not the correct word. I mean, he's the first ever two-time Grand Slam champion. I mean, that is absolutely insane. Like, multiple time tag team champion. Just every championship, he's held them all. Multiple times. I want to see this guy turn face. There's something that is making me feel like something's building up to it. He's really trying to be nice and upstage people. And he's just getting shat on. And he's constantly losing. And that's just the WWE's way of overusing the Miz's star power to help put other superstars over. The problem is now we're overdoing it to the point where now we have the first ever two-time Grand Slam champion, future Hall of Famer, no debate, being treated like Zack Ryder. You can't do that, but they're doing it. What do I know? I'm not head of creative, right? I'm not saying I have a better idea, but I have another idea, and I think this can be used to have somebody come out that's a face to help him out, even the odds when he keeps getting attacked by a couple of people, and just go from there. And then when he walked back out of the ring, because he was getting attacked, by the way, because Miz didn't back out like a coward, which is a very face thing to do again, because back in the day, Seth Rollins was one of the biggest cowards ever. Back when he had J&J Security, if you remember that. If you remember those days, now he's like, I'm a fighting champ. I don't care if my back's broken. You come for me. You want a title shot, you're going to get it, because that's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, because he's just playing the character, right? Anyhow, DIY. Oh, backstage, The Miz says that he wants an Intercontinental Championship, which would be cool, so he's going to earn an opportunity, I think. But then Bronson Reed interrupted that little backstage interview with Adam Pearce that The Miz was having, but we didn't end up seeing Bronson Reed or The Miz, so I don't know if they're going to get into a match, and at some point, I don't know. I'm just sharing with you what happened. But as The Miz was walking out through the curtains, DIY came out. Okay? And then I heard something about, imagine if The Miz joined DIY. I guess that would be cool. I don't remember how much. I know that The Miz and Gargano have history. Well, he has history with Ciampa as well. Yeah, I see it now. Sorry, I'm like half asleep. I'm really tired. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. Speaking of which, DIY did win against Ludwig. And again, looked in disgust at Giovanni. I have a feeling that at some point, we are just going to see something not good happen within Imperium. I personally kind of wanted it to be Ludwig. I don't know why. I think it's just because we hear him talk more. So you're kind of better able to establish that emotional bond with the character. A little bit more so than a guy like Giovanni that you never hear speak. Then all of a sudden he could just speak for a couple of moments, and then like the RPMs of like emotional attachment kind of build up. It's like, oh, this guy's got personality. This guy, you know, can speak. We know what he's thinking. Shows emotion, you know what I mean? In those 5 seconds, it's like, oh yeah. And then you start rallying behind him. Now I'm starting to wonder if he should go face someday. I don't know. Not always about a face or heel turn, but I'm just saying, I think sometimes when you do that, it can really, really freshen things up. So that's what happened there. DIY was successful. I think it was their first time wrestling in about 4 years together. Yeah. Then backstage once again, which was great for me at least. We had the backstage promo with Shinsuke Nakamura in Japanese, and it was really cool. Now, this one was a little bit... I did reading on it because she sold it well and she did a good job of selling it. I just didn't kind of quite like the way the match ended because it was a bit too quick for my liking, okay? Just a little bit too quick. I get it. Time restraints. But Candice LeRae... Yeah, that's right. That's the girl on the left. And Xia Li, I probably butchered the name, but that's okay. So did Michael Cole with Candice LeRae. I forget what other superstar he named her instead of, but whatever. People were making a big deal out of that, and I'm like, who cares? Guy's getting old, even said it himself. It was a cool match. Interesting finisher. I thought Candice LeRae sold that really well because that roundhouse kick is what made Xia Li win by a technical knockout. And because she wasn't able to compete, but she sold it so well that people took to social media to make sure that it wasn't like a legit injury, and it's not. She just totally played that out, and I thought she did a fantastic job with that. So the whole scenario again was great. I just wish I could have seen a little wee bit more of it, because when it comes to the women's division, I've said this a billion times before, and I'll say it probably a billion times more, we still have some women in there that, no offense, they don't really impress me, but they're at the forefront of matches constantly, especially singles matches like Chelsea Green. She's a great entertainer. She does her parts so well. But I love seeing someone like Zoe Stark get in there. So amazing in the ring. Freaking Trish Stratus, for Christ's sakes, 51 years old, and I'm like, promos, the athleticism, the non-awkwardness of the moves inside of the ring, it's just so freaking good. Anyways, enough about that. Then we had some backstage stuff. Oh, we'll get to Seth freaking Rollins in a moment. So backstage, it was just kind of cool. Just a little moment where we had Sammy and Jay run into each other. And then Jay got interviewed really quick. They just said hi to each other there, Sammy and Jay. And Jay says that he'd love to get potentially another title opportunity with Cody Rhodes, which would be great. But I was thinking to myself, your original dog was Sami Zayn. Wouldn't that be something to have former Bloodline members, Jey Uso and Sammy, who have so much history, to captivate the tag team titles together, right? But I do really enjoy the dynamic of Cody Rhodes and Jay. Cody Rhodes, the whole, I forgive you, brings him back into the WWE and all that. So anyways, what do you think of that? I don't know. Maybe it's stupid, whatever. It's just a thought. It's something I thought would have been cool. Then we had a little backstage vignette promo, if you will, with Drew McIntyre wanting the belt, and we kind of recapped on his history, the dark times in the company during the pandemic because of COVID, when you were wrestling in front of TV screens in the audience, and then when he won the belt, he didn't really have anybody to celebrate it with. He raised some good points, but Seth Rollins then came out. Actually, I'll get into that in a second, sorry, because he's right there. Yeah, then backstage, speaking of which, promo with Zoe Stark talking about, the whole 5-way championship match at Crown Jewel, and I'm actually really looking forward to that one, because for me, in all seriousness, and I've said this since day one, Zoe Stark really is the one to watch. Like, she, to me, really is something special. Really, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I know this might sound wild, and for the few people that know me, they know that when it comes to the women wrestlers, you got like Charlotte and Trish. They are some of my absolute all-time favorites. I'm telling you this right now. Like, Zoe is gonna if she isn't already there, gonna make like easily like my top 5. I'm not kidding, for female wrestlers. Like, just, anyways, I at least think she's incredible, and I believe she's underappreciated. And I base that on interactions on Reddit, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Just a lot of people shitting on her. I'm like, this ain't Nia Jax. This is Zoe Stark, man. Like, get on board. Anyhow, so to reply to what Drew McIntyre said backstage, Seth Rollins came out, and it was really, really cool because he touched on like real life shit about COVID and stuff like that. Basically told Drew literally what it says, boo frickin' who. A lot of people were struggling, Seth was saying. Some people not knowing if they were going to get another job or another paycheck or still have a home to live in. Drew had it much better than most people, which is true because he's got a solid income being in WWE, and he was still employed when other WWE superstars had been let go. So that was like one of those, like, oh, it hit home kind of thing. And it was just really, really nice to see. Then we had Seth effing Rollins, who did defeat JD McNugget. I like to call him McNugget. He looks a little funny, but that's okay. I like him. He is actually really, really good. For some of the newer people that have come in, like him and Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes is good. I have to admit, JD is effing good. He's amazing at not only taking the bumps, but like selling the moves and not overdoing it. He's really, really good. I actually, believe it or not, I almost put him up there with the likes of like Austin Theory, man. Like, to me, he's just so damn good. But yeah, so Seth won, even though Damian came out to try and interfere, and then at the end, Damian just kind of like pulls on JD's leg and just pulls that McNugget right out of the ring. I'm never gonna get over the McNugget thing. It's cringy, it's stupid. I don't care. It was fun. And then we had this match, which was something interesting. Because backstage we had Chelsea and Piper, and they were looking like the Hurt Foundation. So she had all her hair curly and stuff like Bret the Hitman Hart, and then Piper was Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and then obviously that's the daughter, Natalya, in case you've forgotten, right? So they did the match, and she lost because that's what Natalya does, and again, not her fault. It's scripted. I'm just like, I'm so done with this stuff, man. Just so done with it. Then we had backstage Becky Lynch. This was actually a really good promo. Just talking about losing the title. I forget who she lost it to. It must have been at NXT. But how she's been defending it more than Rhea and even more than Roman Reigns has in like a year. The amount of time she's defended it in just like a few short couple of weeks or whatever. Which is true. Those are real statistics. Just kind of how she just went off like, you know what? I don't really care. Just like whatever. Not a big deal. Damian Priest defeats Sami Zayn. Now, we'll get into that in a moment. Backstage, Becky. Yeah, I've already talked about that. Then Chelsea again looking like Bret Hart fighting Natalya looking like a bunny. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, right. Pumpkin pie match. Oh, see, this is why, I forgot to mention that I have to admit this was funny because it's Halloween and everything. So what you ended up having here is at ringside where the commentators are, there's the table, but there was a table in front of the announcer table with some pumpkins that were carved out and stuff. And then when they lifted up one of the pumpkins, it was just Nikki Cross that was just like under the table with her head sticking out of the hole. Just like, again, I don't think she blinked, and that's something I can say. But I have to admit that little element there that was thrown into that match, it was actually pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, Natalya lost again. Ah, boy, oh boy. Natalya and The Miz, they should get together. Sami Zayn versus Priest with Dirty Dom and Finn interfering. Of course, Jey Uso then comes out to even the odds. Then things got a little goosey again. So Cody came out and just slapped that barbecue sauce all over JD McNugget twice through the table. And that basically concluded the match. And he gave a little bit of a fire promo there at the end. Exactly. Yeah, I had fun. That's really the takeaway from it. And again, if you didn't watch it and you're curious about a couple of highlights, The actual WWE website will always give you a couple of minutes of these segments so that you can watch them in pieces. Thumbs up if you liked the video. It does help with the algorithm, so they say. If you didn't like the video, well, that's just too bad. Thumbs down. We bend it in half, twist it, and we break off a Solo Sikoa thumb off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, exactly. Do I even need to finish that statement? I don't. It's obvious. Do it. No, do what you want. And if not, whatever. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. Happy Halloween, by the way. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.